Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Larry Bodenheimer, and today we're taking a look at BlankGrabber. Now BlankGrabber is a 64-bit Trojan, and out of all of the other Trojans we've reviewed on the channel, this one in particular is particularly nasty, and I'll go over why that is in a bit. First, we're going to go ahead and pull this up in VirusTotal. We can see a whole slew of tags, so I'm going to go through this quickly. Portable executable, detects debug environment, clipboard, calls WMI, signed, long sleeps, overlay, invalid signature, checks BIOS, persistence, checks network adapters, 64 bits, and hosts modifier. Anyway, so with this particular one, this is a case where the popular threat label is actually incorrect. You can see with the threat label, they're calling it Teddy/Pi installer, and the ones that are calling it Teddy are Archibit, Alyak, there's some other ones around here somewhere. That's Pi installer. MCSoft. And then we've got some that are saying Pi installer. So we've got CTX, a variant of Pi installer, and then Fortinet. But you can see a few of these do actually have the correct name. We've got BlankGrabber here. I saw someone else had it. But anyway, the point is, some of these say BlankGrabber, most of them do not. However, the active malware community and VirusTotal is all calling it BlankGrabber. Family BlankGrabber, BlankGrabber, BlankGrabber. So there you go. And I know that it's not Teddy or Pi installer because I've done both of those before, and I've done multiple variants of Pi installer, and this does nothing like that. So BlankGrabber is going to be the correct name. Now let's see who is not detecting this. It's actually got a case where there's more people detecting it rather than who is not. So we're just going to go ahead and go down here to see who's not. And we're going to look for any big names. So we got Clam AV. Who else? I'm not seeing a lot of big names, which is good. We got WebRoot, but they never detect anything on VirusTotal. I think I've seen them detect 2 malware samples on the entire channel. But that means everybody else that's big is detecting this. So the 2 I always look for are Bitdefender, which has Teddy. Wrong variant, but still catches it. Fair enough. And then Kaspersky is agent.dffz. Okay. As long as it detects it, I really don't care. If we go to details, here's your SHA-1, your SHA-256, and your MD5. You don't have to type this down if you want to follow along because it will be in the comment section down below. We never go by creation time on this channel, but we can see the first submission was 10/24. So it's probably a good case to be made that the correction time in this case is actually correct. But what's interesting is that it's so old. Like, this malware is almost an entire month old, and it only has 48 detections, which is a pretty big L from these unknown malware analysts that work for these AV companies, because all the big ones detect it, but it's really weird that so many are not. Anyway, if we go to relations, we can see there is one contacted URL. It's ipapi.com, which is never good to see with suspected malware. And then we've got 5 contacted domains. One is Discord. Again, not something you'd want to see. We got IPAPI, and then we've got Microsoft and GStatic. We do have 17 contacted IP addresses. Some of them do show up as malicious, but they're all either showing no country or they're out of the US. Anything that just really jumps out, but we will come back to these. And we do have 3 execution parents that do show up as malicious. We got dripzz.exe, eternalgen.exe, and eternalpredictor.exe. 10 bundled files as well. One of them we don't have the name for, but it does have 13 detections. And it drops 62 files. And some of these do show up as malicious. We've got rreg.key, blank.aes. We've got some that only have 1 detection, .pyd. Is there anything else? A couple more that have 1 detection, a few more, and that's really it. So this and this, we're going to want to see if we can find those. If we go to behavior, again, I don't spend much time on behavior on this channel, but if you want to take a look for yourself, now is your chance to do so. As soon as it loads. It's been slower every time I do this. So we do have 3 sandbox detections: Cape Sandbox, Zenbox, and Yomi Hunter. So good job there. And we have a whole slew of Sigma rules. And I just saw one out of the corner of my eye that is particularly nasty. So we do have 1 critical, 9 high, 18 medium, and 4 low crowdsourced Sigma rules. And then we have 2 medium and 2 low crowdsourced IDS rules. And one I saw that was particularly nasty, matches rule capture Wi-Fi password. That is extremely nasty. I don't know what they'd ever want with that. I guess maybe they think if you use it for your Wi-Fi, you might use it for something else. But I have never seen that before. Not in like live analysis like this. Ew. And then we got a few more matches outbound connection rule. Like I said, I don't ever spend too much time on this, but this one just immediately jumped out at me. So do with that as you will. And if we go to community, we can see that a whole bunch of people have commented on it. We've got Nix, we've got Carlos, we've got Joe, Any Run, Nike, and Jaffa. Of course, Jaffa was here. That's how you know it's malicious. Because it's been infected with her presence. Anyway, we're going to show the tools that we're using now. We have Process Hacker, which is already prepared. Wireshark, which I'll go ahead and reset the packet for. The packet capture. We've got Zooey, and we've got Process Monitor, which I'll go ahead and clear now. Last thing to do is to take a look at the properties. So we go to Details, and it does try to hide itself. We've got Microsoft Connection Manager Profile Index. We've got a realistic looking file version and product version. The product name is Microsoft R Connection Manager. Now this would immediately be suspicious to me because it wouldn't look like that, especially with a capital R, because that's not how registered trademarks work. But this one here, copyright Microsoft Corporation, all rights reserved, does look very realistic. And size 7.58 megabytes. I might think that's a little high, but you know, I wouldn't be too suspicious of that. But then we have a signature from Akio Consulting, and if we click details, the digital signature is not valid, the digital signature of the object did not verify, plus it's expired anyway. Last but not least, let's go ahead and open Process Hacker, and without any further ado, we will run the malware. So we'll go ahead and right-click this. We'll click Run as Administrator. Man, it's taking forever these days. Do you want to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes to your device? Sure, why not? We click yes, and immediately we see a whole slew of things going on right now. And it is jumping the CPU up to 100%. We saw a whole bunch of tasks. We saw tree, we see task list, PowerShell, command.exe, and if you noticed, it did just close Firefox. And rar.exe, PowerShell.exe, and it should kill itself about now. And that's it. That's the whole malware. So now that it's closed Firefox, let's go ahead and reopen it so we could take another look at VirusTotal. We're having trouble finding that site. So, here's what it did. It has modified the host file. And how do I know that it's modified the host file and it's not just set us up on some weird VPN or proxy thing? Because we can still access other sites. So if I want to go to like Amazon, we can still access Amazon. And most like unsophisticated malware samples just simply modify your proxy, which could be changed by going to proxy settings, and it should show one down here. And you could immediately just remove it and you're good to go. But etc hosts is a little trickier. So what we have to do is let's open the folder and we're going to do C Windows System 32 drivers etc hosts. Now modifying this is extremely annoying because here's what you'd have to do to modify it. So you'd hit enter and it'll ask which app you want to use to open hosts. So we'll open Notepad. Copyright all rights reserved, and you can immediately see here that VirusTotal and www.virustotal are right here. So this is the basically blacklist of what it's not going to allow you to pull up because it's doing local name resolution. So kind of the same thing that the proxy does, but this is a little more complicated. So here's the things that it is blocking us from. So we got VirusTotal, Avast, Total AV, ScanGuard, Total Ad Block, don't know why, but okay, PC Protect, never heard of that, McAfee, Bitdefender, Norton, AVG, Malwarebytes, Panda Security, Avira, Norton, ESET, Zilia, Kaspersky, Sophos, Adaware, Bullguard, ClamAV, Dr. Web, and we're getting close to the bottom, MCSoft, F-Secure, Zone Alarm, Trend Micro, and CCleaner. Why CCleaner? Does CCleaner have an AV I don't know about? But anyway, these are the ones that it's blocking. So, how do you stop this? There you go. Now, here's where it gets really annoying. So you Control S, and you try to save it, and then it tells you this. You don't have permission to save in this location. Contact the administrator to obtain permission. My brother in Christ, I am the administrator. So it's not going to let you save it. If you click yes, it just saves a copy in the documents folder. So the first time, I clicked no. But then it just doesn't change this at all and doesn't save it anywhere. So we're going to click yes, and we're going to save it to the documents folder. So what I figured out after like 20 minutes of tinkering with this, I have to copy it from the documents folder to the etc folder. So we're going to have to open 2 of these folders. So let's do one in documents. We'll minimize that for now. And then we're going to do C Windows System 32 drivers etc. And if you're like me, I accidentally added the hosts like 14 times in a row. We're going to hit enter. And here are your delicious, delicious files. This is the only one that we care about. So now I'm just going to copy it from the documents folder and replace it, right? Fair enough. You'll need to provide administrator permission to copy to this folder. Okay, I'm the administrator. You see the problem here? So no big deal. I'll rename it. We'll just remove the .text, and it'll be a simple file for the computer to understand. And then it asks me to give admin permission to file operation through user access control or user account control. Fair enough. Yes. Do you want to rename host.txt to hosts2? There's already a file with the same name in this location. No, I do not. And then finally, we can delete the original hosts file. I need to provide admin permission. And now we can right click on the file, go to rename, delete.txt, yes, yes, and it's finally done. That took way too long. I know that it's your etc folder, but come on, man. You basically blocked me from accessing it entirely, and I was able to bypass that by copying the file to the directory. Okay, but whatever. So if we refresh this, we now have access to everything again. All of those blacklisted things are now gone. There's a bunch of stuff in the screen. Let's close that, close that, close that. There we go. Much neater now. So we'll go ahead and stop the packet capture on Wireshark, and we'll save this as 1.pcap. And as you can see, the malware is not running right now. But we will go, and we will go to Zooey. We'll close that, import data. We'll go to documents, 1.pcap, and minimize this. There we go. And now we're going to take a look in process monitor. So we're going to do 2 filters. I'm sure that surprises everybody. We're going to do operation is create file. And then we're going to do process name is cmstp.exe. We'll click add. We'll click apply. And in 5 seconds or around there, we can see that there are 4,459 events. Now, in testing, there was like almost 6,000, so I'm a little skeptical as to that. We'll check and see if this number changes. I don't expect it to, because it killed its host process, unless it's running somewhere it's not supposed to be. But I don't see any fake service hosts or anything like that. Not anything that just jumps out to me. But if we see this number update, I'm going to be really confused. But let's go ahead and maximize this. We'll expand the path, because some of these have really long names. We can see the prefetch was deleted, unfortunately. And we can see apphelp.dll, and it starts to execute itself. Alright, so let's take a look through this. We have a bunch to look through, so I'm going to kind of skim until we get to the part where it says name not found or starts to say some really suspicious stuff. So, we have some DLLs. Here's your rreg.key. So if we go ahead and try to jump to that, it was unfortunately deleted. Now here's one that didn't seem to be in that list, rar.exe. We can hope that that's there, and it's not. So from what I'm seeing so far, this malware does a really good job of covering its tracks. You basically immediately know that you've got malware, but it does a really good job of hiding what it actually did. So we can't actually jump to any of that because it was deleted as soon as the malware was done with it. And the reason I'm going kind of slower than if I was just quickly skimming through and just looking for the name not founds, I'm looking for a very sus string. We got Python 313.dll, so it looks like it is accessing Python. Makes sense. Python 3.dll. Because a lot of the AV companies thought it was PyInstaller. It only makes sense that it's using Python. You know, huge shock there. It's accessing itself again. SQLite. Okay. Base library. URL lib. Alright, so email. Wait a minute. It says name not found, but I'm going to cross my fingers. Hope I get lucky. No. Anything that looks cool is just immediately gone. HTTP, they all say name not found. I'm going to try this last one, and I'm going to stop trying. Yeah, they're all gone. Very unfortunate, but nothing we can really do about it. Hashlib.pyd, baselibrary.zip, q.pyd, import lib, pathlib, the file. I'm still looking for that one that immediately, I'm sure is going to make like everybody's eyes just shoot wide open. But I'm not seeing it so far. SCR, so it's doing, oh, wait a minute, here we go. Startup. So I did see one of the tags say persistence, and I kind of was doubting that because the malware seems to run for 15 seconds and then kill itself. But it looks like we may have some persistence after all. We'll definitely restart the computer and see if it boots up with the machine. But that's interesting. So we got SSL certifications. And we're in the start menu again, administrative tools, maintenance, and we're accessing some of my Firefox stuff. Very good, very good indeed. I totally didn't need any of that anyway. And then we see a bunch of Microsoft Edge stuff. So it's basically accessing every single folder in Microsoft Edge. So we're just going to skip through all of this. I'm not going to read every single one of those. But I am going to stop at various intervals and see if I can find that string. It is a secret. Here it is. So C, users elect, which is my username for some reason, app data, local temp, webcam. I have no idea what it's doing in the webcam. Is it possibly accessing the webcam? You never know. I'm not going to plug my webcam into this machine and find out. But that is particularly nasty. So, yeah, we'll just skip through that. We still accessing Microsoft Edge. Every single folder belongs to this malware now. Bye-bye. Nice knowing you. And we've got Edge Wallet. So if you are using your Edge Wallet, yeah, that's all gone now. So bye-bye. We've got Smart Screen, Speech Recognition, Sub-Resource Filter, Well-Known Domains, Widevine CDM, and then we're in App Patch, and eventually it's going to do the exact same thing to Firefox, because it is detecting that we've got Firefox pulled up, and it knows that we're accessing VirusTotal. So your browsing data, that's gone. Anything you put in YouTube, well, that's gone. Ever visited Wireshark? They know. So do with that as you will, and we're back to Edge. It doesn't spend much time in Firefox like it did in Edge. I'm assuming that the Edge browser is just the one that it has the primary focus on, and for some reason it does check all of these folders and your wallets multiple times. But if we keep going, eventually we're going to hit the end of all this. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And we've got a new .temp file. I'm sure it's gone, but we'll look anyway. Yep, that's no longer there. Edge history, Edge autofills, and we're almost at the bottom. There is a DLL and desktop, which is not there anymore. More of your certificates, credentials, directories, system, MAC addresses, videos.txt for some reason. Wait a minute. Oh, that's gone too. MAC addresses. Alright. And then display 1. And it looks like it's finally deleting everything that it needed access to, and then it stops at kernel app core. So unfortunately, it didn't really drop anything that we could take a look at. Well, it did drop rar.exe, but I'm assuming we're not going to find anything from that. We could try, because even though the file was deleted, we can still look at anything that it might have done. But that's the only exe, I believe. Oh, we do have 171 events. Okay, I'm glad I looked. So it's accessing your credentials. It's doing the exact same thing that the last one was doing. But if we scroll to the top, it did delete its prefetch, no surprise there. It executed itself. It imported some DLLs. And it's just a miniature version of the malware. That is unfortunate. So next, we're going to go ahead and take a look in Zooey. And then we're going to go back to VirusTotal. So let's query the pool. Or not back to... I keep saying VirusTotal instead of Wireshark. I don't know why I keep doing that. My fault. We're going to ignore all the alert 3s because it's all the exact same thing. App layer, wrong direction, first data. And we're looking for alert 2s and anything else. So, I mean, we could check the notices, but they're all invalid certifications. And anything that's not Microsoft, we already know that it's invalid. Like, we've done this a million times. But, surprisingly, I'm not seeing any alert 2s. Now, here we go. Finally. So, if we take a look here, ET policy external IP lookup IPAPI.com device retrieving external IP address detected. And this is going to say the exact same thing. So I have no idea why it only did that 2 times this time, because in testing it did like 80, but that's okay. It only needs to run once. So we'll minimize that, and we're going to take a look in Wireshark. So we don't need to reopen the packet capture, it's still right here. Let's go down here and let's look for any suspicious IPs. We are getting a lot of connections from this 151.101. So we can take a look in VirusTotal. We can take a look in VirusTotal. We can go to Relations. I don't remember that being on the list. No, it's not. So we'll just assume that's a red herring. And the 145, oh, that's the time, brain. Appreciate that, though. Here's one. We got a 162.219.225.118. So we've got a 162.159, but we don't have the 225.118. But it is on the same IP list, so do that as you will. And we still got a bunch of connections from this 151. So let's scroll down a little more. We got some 20s. That's Microsoft, so that's... I mean, it's suspicious we have so many connections to it, but that's not going to tell us anything. Oh, there's more IPs. Oh. My fault. So if we go back up, is that the same one? No, but it definitely is contacting Microsoft, which we already knew, but I didn't see it in the IP list. And for some reason, I forgot to check it. Silly me, I forgot. Is there anything else? I'm not seeing anything else, and there's no point in looking through this forever because there's over 10,000 packets here. So we do have some TCP zeros. And then we've got 162. Here we go. That matches with this one. So we finally got one that is exactly the same. 162.159.137.232. For some reason, they're all the way at the top. And we've got a ton of 0 windows. And then we're done with that. And still making connections. And we're back to more of the 0 windows. Okay. So it seems to be all connecting to the same IP. Which I'm assuming that these are all just different IPs of the same C2. or maybe the same C2 copied. But if we try to, I'm just going to look at one of these, but if we try to do this one, and we're going to put it in abuse IPDB, let's go ahead and open this in a new tab, check. It was found in the database, reported 69, nice, times. If we scroll down, we have received reports of abusive activity from this IP address within the last week. It is potentially still actively engaged in abusive activities. So drop from IP address to TCP port 47146. So it looks like it's doing port scanning. And we'll ignore these. Bots invasion hacker. Yeah, I'm not touching. Screw that. But we do have more port scans. So it looks like this has been used for port scanning for quite a while. Exploited host. Interesting. So there you go. Now, maybe I will put this in who is. We'll take a look. We go to who is. It is on Cloudflare. And that's probably all it's going to tell us. And it's just going to tell us about Cloudflare and some abuse emails. Okay, so that's going to be all that we're going to get from that one. Is there anything else I'm missing? We took a look at Wireshark. We looked at Zooey. We looked at Process Monitor. I fixed etc host. I think that's everything. We check. The malware is not running. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look. We're going to restart the machine and see if anything comes on startup. At first, I wasn't thinking that it was going to do so. However, I'm a little suspicious this time. So let's go ahead and restart the machine. It's going to take about 10 to 15 seconds to reboot. And we'll take a look for ourselves. I don't know why it does the attempting to start up Windows Boot Manager every time that it restarts, but that's definitely not a Windows thing. I'm assuming that that's something to do with VMware. There's the beautiful chime music. Everything in freaking Windows feels so corporatized these days. Okay, malware analysis, go, go, go. Triple click it for good luck. And if we take a look, yes, it's running off of this .scr. Which, you know, that is one that we did not try to look at. It's still here, and it's in startup. And it did kill itself, so it looks like it's running the exact same routine every time. So now, just to show that this is the exact same malware, oh god. You know, get away. I really hate malware testing sometimes. Okay, let's do this again, because I'm nothing if not thorough. C, Windows, System 32, drivers, etc. From malware overwriting my host file. Hosts, continue, double click, notepad, get out of here, save, yeah, it's fine, drag, continue, thank you, reload. What? What? What the heck? You guys saw me delete that. Okay. Oh. Get out of here. Okay. One more. Shut up. One more time. Continue. Rename. Yes. I don't care. Okay. Reload. Thank you. I was really confused. I thought maybe it did actually, like, modify the proxy that time. I was like, huh? And it is the exact same malware. Alright. Well, it does have persistence. Very, very interesting malware sample here. Very, very nasty for a Trojan. But that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, please make sure to leave a like and leave a comment in the comment section down below as well if there's something I did not do in this video that you want to see for future ones. My name is Larry Bodenheimer, you guys have been amazing, and I will see you in the next one.